Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm coming on today to make another LaviniaStamps card. Now the first card I did was showing you my background with the jelly plate and the brushos, and this one is going to be showing you how I do the ink directly blended onto the paper. So I'm started off with a 4x4, 4¼ by 4¼ square piece of card. This one's just normal card. And I'm going to use this stamp, which is the Liberty boat. I'm going to pop that in the middle. This one is a smaller card, but it's for Happy Mail. It's not for a birthday, so it doesn't need to be too big. Pop that there. Oh, I have another stamp on there. Take that off first. So I'm going to stamp this one with the VersaFine Clair in the Nocturne. That all nice and covered, even coverage, make sure there's no bits missing. Not too bad with the stamp platform because you can always go back in again, but if you can get it first try, that's better. Give that a good rub. Just give it time for that ink to soak into the paper. How did we get on with this one? Yeah, I'm happy with that. I've already gone ahead and done a mask for this boat. Now the stamp I want to put inside is actually bigger than the boat down the bottom as well. So I have cut this out at the top where I want the stamp to be, but just left this here. So I think you can see one I've tried earlier. You don't get the extra bit as well on the card where you don't want it. So I will line this up as best I can, and I'll just hold it in place with a bit of washi tape. I've tacked it on my arm a few times just to take any super sticky bits off so it doesn't rip the paper. And I'm going to go in with, where did I put that stamp? I'm using the Millie and Munch ones. I'm not sure which one's which, but it will be this one. Let's see, I just took that off, didn't I? There we go, I've got it. So I'm going to have her, or him, whichever one, in the boat. Don't want it too high so he doesn't touch the top. Around about there. And as you can see, it would stamp the tail outside as well, which is not what I'm after. So let's say, cut the mask only at the top. I'm going to pick that up. That'll be fine once we give this a good inking, because it is a solid silhouette. Make sure there's plenty of ink on there. Wipe that bit off there. Give it a good push for this one. So there we have that, and now it hasn't stamped all the tail outside either. Where the mask has been, there is a fine line that gets left there, but that'll be easy enough to fill in after. So you can put the stamp platform away for now. I'm just going to give this a quick dry with a heat gun. With it being the VersaFine Clair, it does dry a bit slower than normal ink, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. There we go, so that's had a quick dry now. I'm just going to get a scrap piece of paper just to pop underneath. I'm going to go direct to the paper with the blending. So I'm going to start off with this Sundance, which is Elements Premium Dye ink pads. They're from Lavinia too, and these are great for these cards. Now I have some new brushes, so it may take a bit to get filled up, I'm just going to go in with the ink. They're very, very juicy ink pads, so just tap a few bits off on the side so you don't get a big a big blob on the first bit you put in. I always find it easy to start at the edges and work your way in. And for this Sundance I only want a light layer. I don't need it too intense, just so it's not white. And the other colour I'm going to use is a new one. I haven't used this one yet. This one is the Russet Orange, so we'll see how this goes. Take another new brush. Now they were finally back in stock. As you can see, there's so much ink in these new pads, so tap that off. Now I'm going to go in from the corners and the outside into the middle. As you can see, there is quite a lot of ink here, so it's getting used to getting used to a new ink pad. All my other ones I've used them quite a few times, so they are not so much, but we'll sort that out in a bit. There's going to be some stamping around the outside as well. So that is just a bit of a, not a warning, but advice if you're getting any of these pads and they're new, they are very, very full of ink. So you don't have to use these inks, you can use your distress inks, your distress oxides, or any inks that blend. I do like to use these ones. So that is quite dark. Let me go back in with the yellow. Just, you can go back and forth with these. They are great inks. They don't, what's the word? You can't overlap them like distress oxides. They do blend beautifully together. So I do want to keep the centre here lighter. So I'm not going to go in all the way to the middle. No, I should be using something to cover my fingers, but I'm not. I never remember. We get fingerprints. Well, we get fingerprints. Right, so that will do for now. Keep the russet orange out, and I'm going to use some of these hill masks that I got from LaviniaStamps. Let's have a see which one. We want one to give us the effect of the water. So you don't want too much, I think this one will be good. I'm going to put it across where I want the waterline to be. Go back in with the orange and just flick down from the line at the top there. Yeah, that's nice. There we go, so it doesn't look like it's floating in air now. I give that a quick blast with the heat gun. I'm going to get the stamp platform back. I'm going to put this on here and I'm going to use this stamp. You going to use this stamp here. There's some reeds, what they call meadow. No, I think they may have gone in the they may have gone in the wrong pack. It says this is meadow grass, but this looks like reeds to me. That's what I'll be using it as anyway. I'm going to put these on the edge here, just coming into the frame. Don't want them to go over the boat. Do you want them there a bit higher? I think by here. I'll pop that in. And I'm going to use Versifying Clay in the Fallen Leaves. So this one. Give that a good rub in. Get that ink on the paper. Let's have a look. It's just that little bit softer than the black and also introduces a different colour. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to tap this excess ink off on a bit of paper. So we don't get any on the paper while we're lining it up. Let's have a look on this side. This one like this. Oh, that's the lid. There'll be no ink in there. Press. There we go, just a little bit for here, but I think I will go back and just pop it on a block for this. Doesn't need to be on the stamp platform. Ink up the top bits here. Let's place that there and just add a few more here at the bottom just to carry it on a bit. Don't want to be too high. Pop it by there, I think. Do we need any on the other side, or is that okay? No, I think I would have done with a few less there, but hey ho, we will go with it. Pop the stamp platform away again. I'm actually going to go in and colour these with some brushos. I'm going to use these ones that are the same consistency as when I do the backgrounds, just so they're a bit lighter. But you can mix up any colour you want, any watercolours you like for this. I'm just going to use what I've already got mixed together. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to do the boat in brown. You don't have to do these with paint, you could do them with coloured pencils, do them with pastels, anything you fancy. Could have done with a thinner brush. Let me see if I've got a thinner one for these detailed bits. There we go, I'll use this one. Make it a bit easier for myself. Now this is where I probably could have done with using a different type of card. It's going to be quite wet for this card, but fingers crossed it will be alright when it dries. Give that a quick wash in the water. So I think I'm going to do the buttons do them in red, I think. These are watered down brushes, so they are very light, but that's just what I like for these. Wash that, and then we've got some leaves at the top there, so I will do them in green. I got a leaf green, I think. Is that green or is that yellow? I have put root on all the pots, but as it gets wet it just starts to come off, but this one is definitely green, she says. We will find out. Is that green? I have no idea. See, I have all my pens, pencils, paints, very kindly colour labelled by my dad. Sometimes I don't put the lids back on right, so all the colours get mixed up. So I have to go back and say, this is the right one. Oh well. He doesn't mind. Well, he doesn't tell me he does anyway. Right, there we go. I do usually do a moon mask in the background, but I think because I've left that light behind, I don't think it needs it on this one. So I always end up with some kind of splashes or smudges or something, but you can always cover them up in this stage now with the gel pen. Stick a white gel pen, you can add your white dots and strategically place them over the smudges. So no matter how hard I try and do a card like this, I will always spill something or smudge it before it's dried. So it is a handmade card, so it's never going to be perfect, is it? I'm going to do a few dots here on the reeds. Are they reeds? I thought they were reeds, but versatile stamp. So you can do these in white or you can add glitter on. I'll do some in white and I'll probably add a few bits of glitter on later. So I have a Wink of Stella pen. I usually add these onto fairy wings, but I think for this one I will put them on the buttons. So I have this stamp here from Woodware. I think it's just, I don't think it really says anything in particular. It's just a script stamp, so I'm going to add that just in the background for a little bit extra. I'm going to do that in, let me test what that russet orange looks like as a stamp. Take this piece of paper. Is that big enough? It will be for what I need it for anyway. Quick stamp on there. Oh, that's nice and dark, isn't it? What does second generation look like? Yeah, I'll do it second generation, I think. So here is my card. I don't want that big word at the top, so I'm gonna do it just a little bit off. Stamp off once and go in with this. Hold on, just gonna take a bit of paper, a bit of scrap. Just, I don't want it any more than here, so just to protect that bit there. Now, there's not much there, but it is just a little something to add a bit of texture, I think. Would have been better if it was straight, but hey, what can you do? I'm going to do that there again, just to cover it. Stamp off once and onto there. Now these are a bit like Distress Oxides. They're not going to give you the clearest. I'm not going to give you any. I'm going to give you the clearest impression, but for things like this where it's just a bit of text in the background, that is fine by me. I think we need a bit of glitter. You can never go wrong with a bit of glitter. I'm just going to use this scrap bit of card again. I'm going to go in with one of these quickie glue pens. I will put some on these reeds at the side. Let me get that started. Put a few dots on the side here. I'm going to go in with the Glamour Dust, and this one is the Crystal. Same on the other side. Just a few little dots, just as some highlight there. There we go, just a little bit of sparkle. So what I might do with this one is go around the outside with a bit of vintage photo. I'm just going to get a blender. I should already have one with, yeah, I've got one here. What's this one? Is this vintage photo? Yeah. I'm just going to go around the outside with some vintage photo. So I've put a bit of sparkle on the buttons. I might just put a bit on these leaves at the top. Just a little. Well, I say a little, probably colour them in. And then one last job just to fill in this bit at the bottom where the stamp didn't quite reach. I'm just going to turn it upside down so it's a bit easier for me. Get the paintbrush. On a thin but firm paintbrush for this. So that's got a point on the end, that will do. So I want to use the VersaFine again. You can use a pen, but I think if you don't get the same shade of black, or it's dries with a bit of a sheen on or a different finish, you do notice where it's been. So just pop the paintbrush in and gently touch that line. And this also works as well if you're stamping without a stamp platform and you haven't got it right first time. You can touch up any patches in there, which is always useful. And I think there we have it for this one. So I will go after and put a black border on and pop it on a white card base. Do I want to colour this in? What colour would I do it in? I don't know. I'm going to do it in a yellow, I think. Nothing too bright to distract. So just get the brushes out again quick. Take a yellow and a paintbrush. Just so it's not so it's not bare. I think they're meant to be a bit like bluebells. I haven't really got anything blue in here to match it in. I don't want it to look odd. So there we go, that will do nicely. And there we have it, that's the finished card. I matte and layered it with a black border and then just put it on a plain white card base. So that's all ready now for writing in and sending off. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.